you want to know the biggest opportunity for speakers, for experts, for authors that there is right now in the virtual post-pandemic world, keep on watching because you're going to find this very interesting. So here's the greatest opportunity. I want you to please pay attention to this because this is incredibly powerful, and I haven't heard anybody talking about this. Here you can see the biggest subscriber. Well, actually, it's the second biggest subscriber because there's an Indian company that does Indian music at the number one. But actually, PewDiePie, he has 150 million subscribers. Now, 150 million subscribers. Now, if we go next to the next YouTuber that is also really very big, has 38 million subscribers, and that is Mr. Beast. So we go from 150 to 38, already a huge difference. And then if we go from Mr. Beast and we go to all the late night show hosts like Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel and all the people which are in that space, 7 million subscribers. And then we have Gary Vaynerchuk, 2.6 million, and then we have Tony Robbins in the very top. So just as a start, Dave, this is insane. I mean, we're talking about the humongous differences. I mean, just look at the big difference between PewDiePie and then also getting Mr. Beast. Now, these might not be making too much sense to you yet because I haven't shown you slide number 2, which is going to reveal why this is the biggest opportunity that there is for us speakers. So let's go to this slide. So now we can see we go all the way from 1.4 million with Tony Robbins, and then we get into what I call the 1 million subscribers club. And there you can see several. I mean, we can see the Russell Brunson, we can see the Tai Lopez, we can see the Dean Graziosi, we can see the Dan Lok. There's a number of them, not that many, but let's say it's going to be about 10 or 15. Then after 1 million subscribers, suddenly there's nothing, absolutely nothing, until we get to most of the speakers which have been doing quite well on the pre-pandemic world, that they had about 5,000 subscribers and about 75 videos. That's what more or less it was. So several of the speakers that were paid $15,000, $10,000, $12,000 dollars for their presentations, they are on this category. And then guess what happens, which I think is super interesting. Then we go into the fact that there is nothing also, and then all of the other speakers, which are what I call the screaming for attention crowd, which have only 20 videos and about 50 subscribers. Those are the lost souls of YouTube. Now, what is the biggest opportunity, Dave? The biggest opportunity is that right now, positioning ourselves with what we're going to be showing today as a speaker, as an expert, as an author, is going to be super easy, because we don't want to be the 150 million. You don't want to be the 38 million. All we need to have is 2,000-3,000 subscribers and X amount of videos, which I will be explaining you how to do it, and you will be in the perfect position to take advantage of this great opportunity. What do you think of that, Dave?
I think you're absolutely right. Here's one of the big challenges for most people. They start going and they just go, right, I can't do this. It's not working. It's not taking off. But they don't realize that it's got to grow. And you've got to think about the algorithms and what YouTube are clearly wanting to do. I mean, you've got there at the very beginning, you've got PewDiePie at the very top of the food chain. And then you've got Mr. Beast down. But you've got 38 million. Oh, that seems tiny. Between Mr. Beast and then you've got 150 million with PewDiePie. Now, those gaps seem massive, but you've got to really put them into perspective of the other people that are near you. And it reminds me about the fact, I don't know if you've seen that, we haven't got that cartoon with us, about the two guys that are putting on their training shoes, and a bear comes into the cave. And one guy says, don't bother putting on your training shoes. You're never going to outrun the bear. He says, I don't need to. I just need to outrun you. And that's exactly what this case is about. It's not saying that you've got to be all the way to Tony Robbins. He's got a different food chain. He's got a different business formula. But what you can do is certainly raise yourself above the crowd that we have right now. And that will give you a maximum opportunity just to be noticed and to be able to monetize it and create relationships around your brand and your business. And it also means when you post something, you get effect and a knock on, and you won't have to pay for advertising. So it's really worth sticking around for today's show. We're going to share with you tons of ideas.
And what is also very interesting is if we go into our playing space, so we can just forget about the PewDiePies and the Tony Robbins and the Vaynerchuks, because those are in a league of their own. Russell Brunson from 10 years ago, we know him personally from 10 years ago, and he wasn't as big, but he implemented, that was a big thing. Ty Lopez and Dan Lok and Dean Graziosi, of course, they have been there for a while, so of course they have the league of their own. Now, once again, there's a huge gap. Then most of the speakers that were doing quite well in the speaking industry before the pandemic are the ones that have 75 videos average and 5,000 subscribers. Now, over here, the screaming for attention majority that have only 20 videos and 50 subscribers, that's more or less where we are. So what we're going to be learning today is how we can actually go from where we are, from the lost souls, 20 videos, 50 subscribers, into a bit bigger than the 5,000 subscribers, because there's nothing, absolutely nothing. And this is an incredible opportunity, because while we are here in lockdown, still, or it is voluntary lockdown, nobody's doing anything. Nobody's doing anything. Everybody is still standing still.
In fact, what they are doing is they're watching videos. They're not producing them, because so many influencers say, I've got nothing to talk about. I've been in my house. Everyone's seen me talking about being in my house. Where's my new content going to come from? Well, you're going to find out by watching this show.
You have to understand that you are not your audience. That's just a very important thing to take into consideration. You are not creating videos for you. You are creating videos for someone else. So the important thing is to learn to figure out what your possible consumer base wants. And those are the kinds of videos that you're going to be important for people. And those are videos which are going to become relevant to your audience. So that's an important thing. Right now, for many people, starting and getting in front of a camera is daunting. It's scary. It's something that they had never done and they feel very uncomfortable with. So the reason why you have to do more videos is because that's how you're going to be getting your education. And that's why it's very important that you think more in quantity instead of quality. Dave, our first videos, I remember when we started videos, 10, 15 years ago, our videos were crap. And we have been improving every single.
I remember my first videos, I was using green screen and doing it on my old PC, which had about as much processing power as my toenail. And so what would happen was it had a green screen and it had me speaking in front of it. And literally sometimes parts of my head would go missing as it couldn't quite render everything properly. A bit like when people are doing Zoom and they try and show off by showing you've got a backdrop of some incredible logo. And if they move their head back like this, only their chin is showing. And then they go like that and suddenly the whole head comes back again. So yes, those are the early days of videos, but things have changed quite a bit since then.
Exactly. So don't be afraid of just making videos, because it is part of the education. The most important thing is quantity, not quality. That is absolutely critical. Quantity, quantity, quantity. The more you make, the more professional your videos are going to be looking like. So that was just an introduction. I hope that you are finding it interesting, and what we're going to be learning is going to be really interesting. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to tick the notification button. because there's going to be a lot going on there.
Now, this is something that we talked about in terms of what Gary Vaynerchuk was saying, and he was just reeling off the facts. I don't think we've got video about it today, that you should really be thinking about quantity rather than quality. And I know a lot of people in the influencer space who are so concerned that they want to make it completely on their brand and get it exactly right. And so they only post every couple of days, but when they do, it's ultra relevant. And I've got one friend in particular who's a very, very good marketer, but he hasn't got a huge following on social media, but he's a social media marketer. And I said to him, you can't be in a position where you tell people what an expert you are if you don't have enough numbers to prove that you can really walk the talk. Which he agreed, and so he agreed to start posting more frequently. And the thing is, you may say, well, I've got 1,000 people, you know, I post it and I get maybe 300 people, if you're lucky, or 50 people actually interacting. But what you don't know is of your 1,000 people, it doesn't mean that those 1,000 are the only ones that get it. Over a period of a week, it could be 7,000 people that you reach. They all get a chance to see your content, but only some of them are starting to react. But some of them, when they start to see it and it's regular, you'll start showing up on their algorithm, and especially if they like it or they comment on it, you'll start popping into their feed. So it's a case of snowballing. You got to keep the whole thing going.
In order for you to get what you want in YouTube, it's relevance. You need to actually be talking about relevance. Now, when we were in the pre-pandemic world, this is how we decided what we were going to be talking about to our audience. So basically, what we wanted to say and what our audience would be interested in. Right now, the virtual speaker relevance model has changed, because now what happens is that you also have to take into consideration what your audience is searching for. So what you're interested in, what you want to say, and what your audience is searching for. This is the relevance model of how things are going to be working now. And that is just super important, because most people start doing videos still in the previous model, in the old model. They are doing videos of what they want to talk about and what they think their audience is interested in. But now what you need to take into consideration is what are people searching for. Because if you don't do that, what's going to happen is you can create a video, but your video is not going to be seen by no one.
Because nobody searched for it. I mean, here's the thing about it, and this is what's so different about the lockdown world that we're in right now. Even if we're not in lockdown, you're outside of it, it's still the mindset that goes with it. If you look about that one with the 3 circles, what they're interested in, what you want to say, the green one used to be what your clients were asking for. Online, it's Google that's driving that. It's Google words, it's your keywords. So what are they searching for online? Which means that you can really dominate when you think about it, but you can also be completely ignored, even if you're great at what you do. I know a ton of really top speakers who've got 0 presence online, really talented, but they just don't get any calls for doing virtual work, and they find it very hard to actually be noticed by people because there's nothing online to prove that they exist. So this is really important stuff.
Yeah, it absolutely makes complete sense, because if you take into consideration that most people say, yeah, but you know, what kind of content am I going to be making for the virtual world? What kind of content am I going to be making for making YouTube videos or making Facebook videos or making Instagram videos? And then what they do is they take their phone and then they start talking about some sort of content. And if nobody's searching for that content, nobody's going to watch that video. So right now, for example, if you noticed, we are creating these videos because right now we know that there's a market, there's a search for what makes my videos relevant. And this is exactly why we're making that. So we are adjusting our way of thinking. And that's one of those things that you really need to take into consideration. Now, if you're a speaker, now that we are in the virtual world, we need to know that previously we only needed one reel, we only needed one video, which was our casting reel, how we call it. But right now, one of the challenges is that is just not enough, because Dave and I, we have a number of different videos in how we promote ourselves. But if I'm going to hire you to do a virtual presentation, I want to see some evidence. I want to see some proof that you are good in doing videos, that you know what you're doing virtually, because if not, it's just a bit of a risk. And right now, what's going to happen, and this is my take, what's going to happen, I think, it's going to be, even if we go back into the normal world, a lot of the events are going to still be done virtually, and the virtual world is just already upon us. This is not going to change. So you need to have in your portfolio not only your demo reel or your character reel or your casting reel, however you want to call it, but also you need to have proof that you know how to create and work with video.
Well, the thing is, every single person, when you start going for an online world, you've got to remember that they now have access to every single speaker with a show reel, with a demo reel or sizzle reel on the planet. So even if they're not going to bring you in and fly you into their special conference, all they need to do is just access somebody who can stand in front of their laptop. Today, I was hosting a big conference for GITEX. I had Microsoft, Lenovo, STC, and Digital 14's representatives. And we were just doing a Zoom conference with many hundreds of people watching, talking about 5G and edge computing. You don't need to look too hard to be able to get access to somebody who can do the job for you. So you want to make sure that when your name comes up, or even better, making sure your name comes up first, that you've got plenty of evidence that you can take care of all their needs. Doesn't matter what their subject is or what their particular areas of what they want to do for solutions for their team or for their events. You can say, no problem, I've done it before, here's your evidence. And that's why you need a bank of relevant content as well.
There's two attractive legs from a virtual speaker. And first of all is going to be your strong online profile, which I will explain to you what that is in a moment. And then quantity, again, quantity of video content. So I have a question for you. If you're a speaker, if you're an author, if you're an expert, how many videos do you have right now online? If I will go and search for your name in Google Videos, in Google itself, how many videos are going to be appearing there? And this is an important question because this is going to be a metric very, very soon, if not already. So that's an important question for you to think about. I have a video here that I want to show you so that you know exactly what are the two different elements that you require to be an attractive virtual speaker. Before we went into the pandemic, into lockdown and into the virtual world, what we were teaching our students in Speak Internationally, Speak in America, Speak in Europe, Speak in Dubai, was that they needed a strong speaker media kit and also that they needed a casting reel. Now, what has changed from then till now? Well, right now, what you need to understand is that your casting reel is not enough anymore. So if you do not know what a casting reel is, please have a look at this one so that you will understand.
My name is Ernesto Verdugo and I am an international speaker, author and event promoter. I pride myself for having over 25 years of speaking experience, delivering my message, helping people from over 119 nationalities. As a speaker, my topic is big data, innovation, change, and international cultural relationship. Speaking in 3 different languages has given me the possibility of touching lives of people all over the world. I am now not only speaking, but I also organize events and I also help other speakers that want to become international. We have an event that is called Speak in Dubai, but we also help people speak in London, speak in Thailand, speak in Australia. Speaking internationally is full of opportunities. There's opportunities everywhere. And it is something that most people don't really realize because they always try to speak in their home country. The moment that you go internationally, you start an incredible career, start seeing the world. It has opened my world in ways that I cannot even begin to describe. I am the 247th most traveled person in the world, and I am a recognized personality in the Middle East. And I have had the opportunity to bring over 200 speakers to Dubai and other places around the world. And I know that I can help you get your speaking career internationally. Once again, this is Ernesto Verdugo, and if you would like to find out more about what we're doing, go to ernestoverdugo.com or visit our community of speakers at speakindubai.com.
Perfect. So now you know what a casting reel is. That is part of what it used to be very important. Right now, you need a lot more than that. And let me explain to you why. Anyway, your speaker media kit is not going to change. Let me just run through some of the pieces of the speaker media kit, which is exactly what we do. If you need help with this, contact me at ernesto.today and I will be very happy to help you. Now, as you can see here, I am not showing a picture of me with people. I am showing a picture of me as a virtual speaker. Now, if you just go down here, I am just showing the credibility pieces that are important for me right now. Here, there's a lot of testimonials. This is exactly what I have done. As you can see here, I am still portraying myself as a virtual speaker because right now we're in a virtual environment. What is what I do? I do webinars, video collaboration, live streaming, online summit, digital events, virtual experiences. What do you have in mind? I'm a virtual event producer. I'm a virtual event host and MC. I'm a virtual keynote speaker. So I have adapted every single thing that it's required to do that. Now, I have here my post-lockdown relevant topics, and all these topics are topics which are very relevant and very important to the marketplace right now. I changed what I was doing in the past, and that's the most important thing, that right now you need to adapt yourself. So as you can see here, there's all the credibility where I have worked with. There's testimonials from some of my recurring customers, the reasons why to hire me, and there's videos of me on stage actually speaking. And the media where I have been featured. I talk also about my web TV show and my podcast together with Dave, and my global experience, and highlights of all my events. So as you can see here, this is incredibly impressive. Why? Because what happens is when people are searching for me, and then they see all my videos, and then they see this, they say, wow, this is exactly the speaker that I would like to work with. So that's why previously you only needed a character reel, as I just showed you a moment ago. But right now you need not only this part, but you need a ton of different videos, because that's how you're going to show that you're actually a virtual presenter and that you know how to present virtually. So now you know the two most important legs for a virtual speaker.
Very good. I'll tell you what, really, when I look back at all the stuff, all the material you had there that you gathered over many years of working around the world, I mean, the thing is, now there's a lot of the new generation of speakers that are coming through. We're going to be talking about one in particular, Ali Sherlock. But if you haven't got that content and you've been speaking, you've done lots of gigs, you can't fake that, and you certainly can't create it now. You can't catch up with it, but what you can do is use other strategies to create relevance for a virtual world. But those bits of those photos, those videos from gigs that you've done in the past are like gold dust now.
Yeah, because you cannot get them anymore. That's what I've been telling all of the speakers in our group. I keep on telling them, guys, you need to start moving ahead, because right now it's the greatest opportunity. Now, if you don't have those assets, don't worry, because by using YouTube, you will be able to actually position yourself perfectly as a speaker.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you really enjoyed it, then make sure you watch one of these two videos afterwards. And Ernesto, why are you staring up on top of my head?
Dave, your hair is actually thinning out.
Well, if it is, it's about the only thing getting thin on this show.
Here on this side, we have some more amazing videos for you to watch.